It's been 6 months since I left my dream job at Google, and I'm going to tell you why I left. I also want to share more about like the interview process and the compensation structure, like salary, bonus, equity, all of that juicy stuff. But before we go there, I want to talk about why I walked away from it all because it feels very crazy. One is centered around how competitive it is there, and everywhere I've worked is relatively competitive, but it's competitive in the nature of like you have to make sure you're advocating for yourself and you're surfacing your work up and things like that. But the competitiveness at Google was also in this like scarcity mindset, which felt really off brand for how much money Google makes. So it was really hard to reconcile, like, oh, we're making billions and billions of dollars, or we had a good earnings report, or whatever. But then promotions are blocked, or there's only like a certain amount that will go through. And then things like headcount not getting approved, or certain people's headcounts getting approved. And it felt very much like this really weird control on like the purse strings, which didn't need to be there because everything was so limited. There were so many instances where people had to bring others down in order to raise themselves up. And that was sort of the norm in how you got recognized. And with that, it was like a very selfish culture in the sense of people had to bring others down or throw other people under the bus in order for their work to shine. On that same note, it is impossible to do a good job. So the best way I can explain this is there's this meme that goes around sometimes, and I don't know how true it is, but it's like there's four Nobel laureates that work at Google, and probably one of them got a good performance review. And that is pretty spot on. And there's really no other way to say it. Like, you have to like go to the moon, document how you went to the moon. You have to have witnesses that see you go to the moon. You have to have campaigns that say you went to the moon. You have to have like all this crazy stuff that you did. And it doesn't matter that you did it, but you have to build this whole narrative around it. Again, it's this like self-serving culture. And then and only then does that work potentially get recognized. So that was like one of the main reasons, because like my personality doesn't do well in those environments. And it just didn't really jive with like who I wanted to be and how I wanted to show up at work.